So thank you, Stella. I'm Sammy Berman I'm the data manager at UK LLC. And I'm going to be talking about requesting access to UK LLC data. So all data which are deposited in the UK LLC are available on our data request form. And in order to make a full application to the LLC, as Stella mentioned, applicants will download and complete the request form and code list template, which is something I'll talk about later on. So once completed, the data request form will be reviewed as part of the full application, and approved data will be provisioned in the TRE, Trusted Research Environment. It is important to note that the request form is a live document, and it gets updated regularly to reflect the data and documentation that we currently hold, that the UK LLC currently hold as data become available. As Stella mentioned, the Resources for Researchers SharePoint site gives researchers all of the tools they need to make an application, and that includes the data request form. When you click into the folder, you'll see instructions, which gives guidance on how to complete the request form and code list template. The second thing that you'll find there is the live request form itself. And this is an Excel workbook with 4 sheets. The first sheet giving instructions and asking researchers for basic information about their project. So name, title, project number, etc. When you click through to the second sheet of the request form, you'll get study info and links. And this information is also available on our website. And each row is giving information about a different longitudinal population study with a summary of the cohort, the geographical coverage, cohort size, timeline, data owner, and also links out to each LPS's specific documentation and website. So then on the third sheet of the request form, you'll have the study data requested sheet, and this is the place where all data collected by the LPS and deposited as data blocks into the UK LLC TRE is listed. So on the left-hand side of the study data requested sheet, there are columns for researchers to request the data that they want and provide justification for their requests. So just to give you an example, if a researcher were to request the socio-demo block from the LPS born in Bradford, they would write yes in the leftmost column and then provide a justification. So for example, this block provides key demographic data, which will be utilized as covariates in models and may be used for stratification. Would be an example of a justification for a specific block. This sheet also has some key documentation about each block, such as the collection time point, the number of participants, keywords, and then block descriptions provided by the studies. And then if you scroll to the right on that same sheet, you have links to the LPS documentation and data dictionaries. So for example, if you were to click on the Born in Bradford link for the COVID-19 adult survey wave 2 data block, you can see that their data dictionary and all variables that are contained within that block are available. And then this gives researchers the tools that they need to make their data request. Finally, on this data request form is the linked data requested sheet, and that lists all of the data that are available from linked data sources. So NHS Digital is an example. Down the left-hand column of the sheet, you can see that you have the data block name, and that is the name as it appears in the TRE. And then you also have a full descriptive name of each of the data sets. And then key information about each data set is also provided on this form, including the geographic coverage and the link to the source documentation. So if you click on the documentation link in the COVID-19 vaccination status row, for example, you will be directed to the health data Research Innovation Gateway source documentation on vaccination status. And from there, you can navigate through to technical details and get variable level information about the data that's contained in this data set. So on the same linked data requested sheet, there is a column for each contributing LPS whose data has been linked to a specific data set, and researchers can request data sets linked to participants from the available LPS by marking yes in the relevant cells. While some data sets can be provided in full, others need to be subsetted by medical code list so that the data sets are minimized. And this subsetting is in accordance with our agreement with NHS Digital. So researchers can check whether a specific data set that they want to request can be provided in full or if it needs to be minimized by looking at the code list required column in the linked data requested sheet. And those data sets which do not require a code list are marked as such with NA. And those that do require a code list are marked yes. If any data sets are requested which require a code list, researchers can refer to the last of the 3 files in the data request folder and open the code list template. The code list template is a Excel workbook made up of several sheets, 1 per code list for each data set that requires this subsetting, as well as instructions. And a link is provided on every sheet of the code list template, which directs researchers to information about the relevant code list and code system. So for example, in the GDPR data set, which is a GP data set for pandemic planning and research, it uses the SNOMED CT code system, and this sheet of the code list template takes you to the NHS Digital information on SNOMED CT. So just trying to provide as much documentation and support in filling out the request.